This quality of inertia, darkness, is often misunderstood. Many view tamas as something very negative that has to be eliminated. Tantra, on the other hand, offers a radically different perspective. Tantra accepts everything, it doesn't reject anything. So we also accept tamas. We don't reject it. We accept it, and first we become aware of it, then we accept it, and then we transform it. We have already talked about how tamas manifests in ordinary life. Laziness, procrastination, stagnation, overwhelming emotions such as anger. Now, these impulses are deeply rooted in our habits, our environment, and our past experiences. But instead of seeing tamas as weakness, Tantra sees it as a raw potential, a force waiting to be channeled. Rather than fighting tamas or suppressing it, Tantra teaches us to redirect it towards growth and towards realization. For example, ordinarily, when we talk about human psychology, that everybody is aware to an extent, how tamas can work for us in our ordinary experiences like laziness. Now, laziness can inspire us to become smarter, to become more efficient and find shortcuts which does not take a lot of energy to do something. So instead of resisting laziness, one can see it as an opportunity to simplify and streamline your effort. Procrastination can become a time for deep reflection even, or creative planning, allowing stillness to guide towards inward contemplation and thinking about something where new idea and clarity can often arise. Anger can become a fuel that can charge us and motivate us towards purposeful action. The key to working with tamas lies in sadhana or spiritual practices. And in Tantra, there are many methods how to channel and how to elevate tamas, through which we can transform it and change it into a powerful force for our own inner growth. This force of inertia, darkness, or heaviness is not just an individual experience. Tamas is a predominant tattva in the whole universe. The universe primarily consists of tamasic energies. From the stillness of the night to the pull of gravity that grounds us, tamas is present everywhere, shaping us and sustains the world. But of course, in today's age of Kali Yuga, tamas is even more intensely present everywhere, in us and around us. And it is very natural for people to find ways to escape from this tamas in the pursuit of purity or light. But Tantra teaches us that tamas is not inherently bad. It's simply a force, a raw energy. And this raw energy can either weigh us down, or one can use this raw energy as a source of immense power. In fact, the whole idea of Ashuddhi or impurity to purity or cleansing is not about rejecting tamas, but it also is about accepting it and working through it as a tool of growth. Remember that in the end, what we are aspiring for is a state of Siddha Chitta, of crystal clear light, of awareness, which is Gunatith, which is beyond gunas. When we talk about Gunatith, we are not talking about devoid of guna or nirguna. We are talking about beyond guna, beyond any quality. And this state of Gunatith or transcending guna can be achieved by going through any gun, be it sattvic or gun of sattva, purity, gun of rajas, royal expression of creative potential, or through tamas even. This state of Gunatith can be achieved through any of the gun. And that is why Tantra says that irrespective of whatever gun is predominant, one can work with it, no problem. The so-called sins or darkness or flaws that we carry are not meant to be suppressed or hidden under a veneer of false positivity. Instead, they are a gateway for deep self-awareness. The worst thing that you can do to yourself, to your personal growth, is to become a hypocrite by pretending to be something you are not. Attempting to project yourself as pure, as flawless, or goody two-shoes, while hiding your flaws to create a false public persona. Oh, goody two-shoes, so proper and so sweet, would you dance in the rain and muddy your feet? This pretense not only distances one from authentic self, but also hinders your ability to grow and learn from your inner darkness, imperfections, and so on. It is true that in a way we all adopt a persona, a crafted personality that reflects how we wish to be seen in society. And this persona is like a mask that we wear, a role that we play in this grand drama of life. And it is not inherently wrong to have a personality. It helps us navigate the social context, what we call as lokachar in the world, or the behavior in the world, social context. However, the danger lies in becoming consumed by it, mistaking the mask for our true self. And this facade can isolate us from our core truth. And if one starts to believing in this facade as the truth, then it will create an inner conflict. At the heart of Tantra lies this idea of radical transformation, the nakedness of the self. And Tantra encourages us to strip away all these layers of pretense and face the truth, our truth, as it is, raw, unfiltered, and unpretentious. This idea of a naked truth is where true liberation and self-realization begin. This naked self is free from societal expectation, judgments, and labels. It's simply what it is, the truth of our being. This is why many Tantra goddesses are depicted in nude. This nudity symbolizes this profound idea of embracing this naked truth. It is not so much about physical nudity, but rather absence of illusion, of absence of pretense, and of absence of concealing things. It's about encouraging and having the courage to face oneself without any filter, and having the wisdom to accept the entirety of existence, including its flaw, as sacred. That's what Tantra teaches us, that the path of growth is not through rejecting or denying one's faults, pretending that they don't exist, but by acknowledging it, by embracing them, and then transforming them. This act of facing one's flaw honestly allows you to transcend them. Perhaps this is the reason in many different culture also this idea of confession as a tool has developed, which, if you ask me, is a Tantra tool. Through confession, one accepts one's flaws and mistakes, and through which a new door opens of transformation in an authentic way. In the end, growth comes from this dismantling this drama of pretense and created persona and standing courageously in the truth of who we are. This nakedness of self is your very power. It is your connection to the divine. This is the essence of Tantra, where one journeys through this radical acceptance, fearlessly, authentically. Perhaps this is the reason where Tantra became not a mainstream social way, because in this acceptance one breaks certain social norms as well. If you accept your fears and tamasic nature, it can create scandals in society as well as empower you. In this day and age, even though we say Kali Yuga is a negative day and age, but in this time anything is accepted. No matter what, how you are, you will find some acceptance in some corner of the world. You just have to find your own tribe and vibe with it and grow in that. And this is where Dakini sadhana comes in. Dakini is fierce and tamasic force, Shakti, that accepts and empowers through the Tamas. Dakini teaches us to embrace our flaws not as burdens but as gifts that can be used for spiritual progress. And through Dakini sadhana, we develop this ability to survive and thrive and progress in this tamasic world. Without Dakini sadhana, many practitioners of different spiritual practices, especially those who focus solely on sattvic or pure practices, find themselves at odds with this tamasic nature of the modern world. They struggle to resist its force, unable to stand firm on their path, their practice, because this world is at odds, it conflicts with that. So how do you survive and thrive? To survive and thrive in this world, you need two key qualities. Pratirodh, which is the power to stop something forcefully. And this Pratirodh is the ability to resist, to put an end to something harmful or unjust when needed. It's about standing firm and taking a decisive action to protect yourself and others. It could be setting boundaries at work. Imagine a colleague at your workplace constantly overloading you with their responsibilities, exploiting you. Pratirodh means having the strength to firmly but respectfully say that I cannot take this on. This is the power of saying no. Stopping negative self-talk also within you, constant chatter which is always belittling you, making you feel bad about yourself. How do you say no to that? Without this tamasic power, you cannot do that. Spiraling into self-doubt and negative thought can be stopped through this inner force that says, stop, I want to listen, I won't take it anymore. I won't let you control me, I am taking charge over my mind. It can be about habits, binge watching something, junk food, and this Pratirodh is that power that says that no, I am taking charge of my choice. And that can only come through tamasic sadhanas. Then the other idea is about prativad, the courage to speak out and defend yourself and your values when faced with challenges or opposition. It requires a level of confidence and clarity in asserting your truth. And that is the very essence of Dakini, to assert your truth. When faced with unfair criticism, if somebody blames you for your for their mistake, then how do you handle that? Sattvic quality won't suffice there. It is through tamasic qualities, through tamasic sadhana only you can assert your position and challenge the opposition. If you don't do that, if you don't challenge exploitation, if you don't challenge the wrong exploitation, then the society will consume you. That's the nature of the reality. So you have to stand firm and take your position, even if it means opposing. And that's what Dakini Sadhana essentially teaches us. And this strength comes from facing it directly, not avoiding it. This is only through tamas one gains that resilience and grounding. If you witness bullying or discrimination, then Pratirodh, this power that comes through Dakini Sadhana, can help you develop your own voice. Even when it is uncomfortable, you can stand the truth and face that with strength. And this strength comes from engaging with tamas directly and not by avoiding it. It will give you resilience and a sense of grounding. And when engaged with conscious effort, tamas gives you that unshakable force that is needed in this world. And tamasic sadhanas that comes through Dakini sadhana and Vajra Yogini practices allows you to face this tamasic world head on and helps you not to get overwhelmed by it, helps you harness your inner strength, and through this it empowers you so that you can say no when needed and yes when you have to speak your truth. In Kali Yuga, the tamasic nature of world is dominant. We all know that. In today's environment, tamas is inescapable. Whether it is the microplastic in the air or around. Right now I am sitting in the northern part of the world in Sweden, very close to the North Pole region I have been, and even in rainfall there are microplastics. The air you breathe has microplastic everywhere. The cloth that you wear has microplastic. And I'm not even talking about karmic imprint of what you wear and what you eat, so on and so forth. Tamas is everywhere. This tamasic influence surrounds us with its own inertia-inducing ideas. So you cannot really escape tamas. Digital signals, Wi-Fi signals are everywhere. You have satellites constantly humming with their frequency all around us in the sky. You have radio signals all around the world now. You cannot avoid such frequencies of vibrations that is now present now, which was not present in earlier times. This constant hum of digital signal that surrounds us everywhere is an inertia-inducing influence. So even extreme attempt at purity, I have seen a lot of people going for raw food, organic food, and trying to have very pure food, which is fine, which is a healthy habit. But it can turn into an obsession, which is tamasic pattern in itself. And once you make it your obsession about what you eat, I've seen people being consumed by this idea of what they eat. And once they are consumed by it, that becomes tamas in itself, and that just hinders you in the true path of spiritual transformation. So it's important to stop running from tamas and instead become mindful and become artful towards it, so that you can become aware and use it for your advantage. By embracing these tamasic aspects of your life, you will be able to navigate this world artfully through Siddha Tantra arts. And instead of being overwhelmed by it, you will learn how to dance with it and yet be developing spiritually and evolving. So it is this Siddha Tantra arts and practices that helps you identify your flaws and use your flaw to your advantage. Identify your tamas and your darkness and use your darkness and tamas for your advantage. Tantra says that don't hide your tamas. If you hide your tamas, it creates a psychological distortion in personality. So therefore be open about it. Let it come out. Tantra therefore can be a little ashleel or vulgar even. And Tantra can be very vulgar. Tantra says that don't hide any desire from yourself. Acknowledge it. Tantra is experimental in nature and doesn't believe in hiding anything or putting any trait or idea in a locked box in a subconscious. Fiercely accepting it. And that is why it is radically different from many spiritual tradition that emphasizes on renunciation and denial, denying not just one's desire but denying one's flaws and imperfections which are inherent in all human life. Instead of rejecting this aspect of life, Tantra invites practitioners to embrace them fully, recognize them as an integral part of your journey to self-realization. Saying yes to life, no matter what it is, no matter how raw and messy and filled with challenges, just accept it and say yes to them and learn to dance with it. Whatever you perceive as your flaw, your struggles, even darkest of your impulses, don't think of them as burden and don't try to escape from them. Think of them as an untapped resource of raw potential energy for your own growth and transformation. So it's very important to say yes to your flaws. It is to stand in fullness of who you are, imperfection and all that included. In everything in life, good, bad or ugly, it all can be a stepping stone to the divine. And this is the reason we do Krodhasvarup Sadhana or Tantric deities who are in Tamasic form. These Krodhasvarup goddesses or Tantric deities, deities like Dakini and Vajra Yogini embodies this tamas and guide practitioner to channel this energy constructively. Through their sadhana, tamas is naturally refined and elevated, which leads to a life of inner balance and empowerment. Of course, this path is not easy, but it is very effective. And by embracing the tamasic energy within you and around you, you cultivate this strength to resist and transform and transcend. And in Kali Yuga, this is not just about spiritual practice, it is an essential, it is a necessity for survival and progress even. So if you want to thrive in this tamasic world, let Dakini Sadhana guide you and embrace the tamas as your ally, as your friend, not as your enemy. Transform this inertia into power. Sometimes poison is needed. If you are having some frying pan and if you fry something very sticky in it because it's tasty, then you cannot really clean it with normal organic or natural product. Sometimes you need chemical to clean it, and that is the idea of poison curing poison. Sometimes it is needed, and it is very much needed in this day and age to accept that there is a lot of poison around us, and we have to cure that through poison, whether it be you having to take some pills, painkillers, whether it is taking some pills. A lot of people take pills for mental issues even. What to say? There is society, they get overwhelmed and they are taking it. How to compensate for that so that one is not overwhelmed by that, one is not consumed by those things, then one has to do practices which can overpower those tamasic qualities, and only tamasic sadhanas can overpower those tamasic qualities. Poison can cure poison in that sense. Emotional blockages sometimes require direct confrontation using this energy of tamas itself to channel this raw primal energy to face it. So don't shy away from it, and definitely don't try to sugarcoat it. The key is to find balance, just about using enough tamas without letting it consume you, and use your tamas as your friend, not as your enemy. It is part of your life, a shade of existence, and it is very powerful. It has a lot of potential energy to transform from a state of heaviness into a source of strength, and that comes through Siddha Tantra practices that we are doing, through consciously becoming aware of all our impulses, even the darkest one, and that becomes a door to deeper understanding of ourselves. So next time when you feel lazy, next time when you feel stuck or angry, take a pause and reflect. These moments are not obstacles. These moments are your opportunities to learn the Siddha Tantra practices and refine the art of life expression.